Hey everybody, welcome back to the Barrack Saga LTC. Today we are doing Sidequest X-3, which means that we are finally permanently recruiting Ruby, who has been waiting for quite a while. Now, the first thing that I need to do for this map is to trade Volo's Broadsword over to Ruby, because she needs it in order to achieve the boss kill that she has to do. I'll get into that later. For now, there are another couple of units that we are permanently recruiting in this video, and the first of those is Arthur. It feels pretty nice to me that Arthur and Ruby are being permanently recruited in the same video, given how they were originally introduced, so that's something. However, I have no particular use for Arthur in mind in future, though having that hurry skill, I guess, is going to be somewhat helpful. The other unit that we're permanently recruiting, as I alluded to in the previous video, is Sherpa, and he gets a cutscene here that is immediately activated if you got the event in the previous map, and then there is a follow-up event to that I'm also skipping through, and this one's unlocked after seeing the first event if his happiness is high enough. So obviously I had his happiness well high enough for quite some time, thanks to all of the deployment I did. And that means Sherpa is mine, which is great because he's pretty expensive to hire. And now the only really expensive mercenary that I routinely hire is Clifford. So I am very much looking forward to Ruby's promotion, so that I finally don't have to pay Clifford's obscene prices anymore. So, moving on to the map, it's a fairly basic map. Ruby starts on her own in the southwestern part of the map, surrounded by bandits, while the rest of my units are in the northwest corner of the map. There is also a group of yellow units representing an Imperial force in the eastern side of the map, but they aren't important. For deployment, I am bringing Esteban because I need to get his happiness up a bit, and of course I'm also bringing Enid. So the strategy I have for defeating this map is to have Ruby 3-hit KO the boss using the Broadsword. My original plan was to rely on a killing edge crit, but that proved too unreliable, and I eventually realized that Volo's Broadsword would do the trick just as well. However, despite having the opportunity to do so, I do not immediately move to engage the boss. Instead, Ruby is going to sit around and have 3 enemy bandits move up and attack her in an attempt to get her some extra spear weapon rank before I move in and start fighting the boss. Fortunately, this boss doesn't move particularly early in the turn order, so this is entirely safe to do, with no chance of Ruby getting blocked. I forgot to dismount her as she moved, but that's alright. In the northern part of the map, I am, as I mentioned, bringing in units in an attempt to feed them to Enid, and in theory there are 2 units who could be fed to her, and the first of these is this outlaw who is hiding in the forest. Unfortunately, Enid ends up missing the killing blow on this guy, so Dean ends up taking her kill once again, and she is forced to wait until next turn, when she can finish off the brigand that attacks her on this turn. My goal with Enid is to get her close to a level up, so that I can rig a magic level at the start of a subsequent map, rather than having to gamble on it a long way into a map, which is much less efficient. You'll notice in the yellow side that some transporters are spawning, and I'm assuming that they have some decent items. I honestly don't remember at this point because it's so long ago that I actually played this map. But in any case, I am not able to get anyone over there. Now that it is turn 2, Ruby needs to delay until the boss attacks her and she can finally finish him off. And this is somewhat unreliable because the boss actually has about a 50% hit on her, which would prevent her from counterattacking. She absolutely needs to get the hit on the counter because this is a seize map, not a defeat boss map. So she needs her action free to finish the job. So all of this makes this map quite unreliable, as I mentioned, but it's only 2 turns, so it's easy enough to reset until it eventually works out. Waiting for the boss allows Ruby to get in plenty of extra combat against all of these bandits, raising her sword skill up a bit, which is great. And then the boss gets his last action. Ruby manages to dodge him, thank goodness, and finishes him off. So we're now ready to seize, but first I have to deal with an error in my inventory. So in an event at the start of this map, Ruby gets given a vulnerary, and unfortunately that filled her inventory because I wasn't paying enough attention. And she cannot throw away an item that she owns, or an item that she has equipped. So unfortunately I'm forced to discard that vulnerary, but that's alright. I'll try and do better in that regard in future. And so Ruby ceases to complete the map in 2 turns, and I'll see you next time.